Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. Welcome to the Massive Iron channel. It is Friday, March 3rd. Let me get all the dog hair off me. It's raining outside. Yeah. And the dogs are going crazy, right? Ooh, we got one there. We got some cooties and some boogers. The dogs are going crazy. It's raining. You can see them probably super bright. That's because it's so dark outside that the monitor is creating some crazy brightness. So yeah, you're just gonna get bright, shiny, angelic me. How you guys doing? It's Friday, March 3rd. I'm here every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Got some big news regarding free coaching opportunities. Some of you guys know about that, so hang tough. I'm going to get into that. Before I do so, just a couple housekeeping notes. Anybody that posts a question before live starts at 11 Eastern gets a chance to win a free shirt, free hoodie, or a free Massive Iron Whey. Over at my store, superlivingtoday.com, my website, which has a store, you can check out the supplements tab. I have a whey protein with chocolate and salty caramel and creatine. Not trying to be a supplement company. I have good products. If you support me, you put $5 in my pocket rather than any of the bullshit in the supplement industry. So I'm not begging for you guys to support me, but if you want to support something other than the trash can supplement industry that's full of lies and bull crap, support me. So I'd appreciate that. So if you post a question and it doesn't go through, it's not me banning you or blocking you. It is YouTube. YouTube can be funny during live. Try shortening your question. And if that doesn't work, you can head over to Instagram, @BenTheBarman, and slide into my DM, post your questions. I answer every question on Instagram eventually. I try to check in multiple times every week. So you can send me questions at any time right there on the Instagram. And if you're not following me, please follow me. I'm going to get into the free coaching opportunity in just a minute. So hang tough, okay? Hang toughy. So before I do that, please follow me on Instagram @BenTheBarman. You can follow me on Twitter, Tweeter, Twatter, Tutor as well. I'm not super active over there because Twitter bores the living crap out of me. But I post some stuff there occasionally, right? And coaching. I have a couple coaching spots open. So if you guys want to skip the line and sign straight up for coaching, you can head over to my website, do the coaching, website, do the coaching tab, website, do the coaching tab. I'm not a check-in once a week guy, check in 5 days a week. I leave my clients alone on the weekends. You get form checks every single day, 7 days a week. No other coach does that I'm aware of. I check in 5 days a week. No other coach does that I'm aware of. In fact, I'm so obsessive about helping people and so annoying, right? That anytime I talk to these app people that do like the coaching trainer apps, they tell me I'm insane. I say, I don't give a fuck. You're insane because you're only checking once a week and you can't coach that way. I'm a coach. I don't fuck around, right? I actually coach, right? I'm with my people every day like a regular coach in real life, not a part-time coach who wants to charge you $500 a month for a once-a-week email. Fuck that. So coaching, check it out. Team Massive, teammassiveiron.com. Come join. We have a big community. It's growing every single day. No trolls. Get off fucking Facebook for the love of God, or spend less time over there and come over here. We have daily check-ins. You can get form help. You can get workout help. I'm fired up today, so hide the kids. We might have a few F-bombs. Massive fitness equipment, themassivefitness.com. It's going to be here any moment in the warehouse. Those that pre-ordered are going to get it. I'm trying to start a fitness company. I work my ass off to put out arguably the best equipment in the industry. We looked at everybody. We looked at Rogue, Rep, Titan, everybody, and we try to put out better equipment. So I'm not going to go on here and say it's better than everything, but I guarantee it's at least as good, if not better, in my opinion. Okay. All right. One more thing. Let me bring it up. Okay. Let me bring this up. Free coaching opportunity. Then we'll get rolling with live free coaching. Let me find the Instagram. You can check the community tab on YouTube if you guys know how to find that. For the Linkaroo, you can find the community tab on YouTube for the Linkaroo. Share screeny. Here we go. Okay. Or you can go over to Instagram. So you got two ways to do it. You can head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, or you can go to the community tab of YouTube. There is a link. Okay. I had a client pay a substantial donation out of the blue to allow 10 people one free month of coaching. This has to be people that aren't already in the coaching, aren't already coaching with me. I'm sorry. This is his donation, and he wanted to help the service, and I appreciate that. So these are for new people. So don't hate me, existing clients. It's just he paid a lot of money for this. So I'm just honoring things. You can go over to Instagram. There's a link in my Instagram bio. And all you got to do is fill out a simple form. It's only going to take you 3-4 minutes. Name, email address, why you should sign up, that sort of thing. And I'm going to let people know this weekend. And 10 people will get a free month. No obligation. None, right? You're not going to be hammered or squeezed to stay on the coaching. None. We're going to get on the phone like a normal client. Those that win the free month, we're going to comb over your goals. We're going to comb over your needs, your available equipment, your nutrition. I'm going to set you up a custom workout plan. I'm going to set you up a nutrition plan of attack. We're going to move forward daily. You can do form checks. You're going to submit workouts. I'm going to be interacting with you every single day. I check in once a day on all my clients, check what they've submitted, answer their questions, ask them questions. This is as in-depth as any coaching gets on the internet. So if you have questions about this, you can DM me. The only thing is, once you sign up, you have to quit. You have to cancel the service before the month is up. Super easy. All you do is go to my website, superlivingtoday.com. That's it. And say cancel. There's a cancel button. Super easy. It's not like Roku where you have to search around for 3 weeks to find a cancel button. So if not, it just recurs like a gym membership if you feel like you want to stay on. That's it. Link in bio at Instagram at the Barman, or go to the community tab here on the YouTubes. All right, let's get into this stuff. How you guys doing? I'm nearly on 28 days of my cut. I'm down 10.6 pounds and crushing it. I haven't fucking strayed at all. We're not going to stray. We're going full force. We're going balls deep. We're going all in. And I'm down 10.6 pounds. I've been training like a freak. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm training how I want to train, right? That's I want to get freaky. I want to get freaky in the gym. My bench is looking better than ever. I don't know what the hell's going on. I did 300 for 2 sets of 8. I'm not using a slingshot. I'm not using wrist wraps. I'm just going raw, baby, all raw. And I don't know what's going on. I feel stronger than I did 5 years ago. And the first set of 8 with 300, I got a right lat cramp. A really bad one. I still drove on, got 2 more reps, had to shut it down. The second set of 8, I got a left glute cramp. So I got some things that are still trying to get up to speed. But my bench is pretty close to 400 right now at the age of 55. You know, like 26 days into a cut, I'll take it. So enough about me. Let's talk about me. Right now, let's talk about you. Let's get your questions. Stein was first again today. How the hell did that happen? Stein, glad to have you back in the saddle. You are truly a ninja. HB, house training been this week? Good. Yesterday I did back. Today I'm doing legs. I squatted for the first time in 6 months last week. Those of you keeping score at home, I hurt my knee walking down the steps. It sounds silly, but it's been a bad knee injury, just random, just twisted it going down the steps, and it's just not been good. But I used knee wraps last week, and I was able to squat. So, Tim, has the winner for the Instagram T-shirt given away been announced? Yes, and I tagged them. I tagged the winner in that post. So if you look closely, the winner was tagged. Sorry. I don't usually make an announcement post. I usually just tag the winner. Eric, the Beard of Redness. Based on Team Massive discussion this morning, how would you program lifting conditioning for someone that wanted to work up to a Tough Mudder? It's here's the thing. I've done mud races. We did mud races before we got into the trail running world. And I see a lot of people getting hurt on these things. So my best advice is do a little bit of trail running to prepare. You have to do a lot, but you should get your ankles and knees adjusted to a little bit of elevation, a little bit of trail running, probably a good idea. What I typically like to do is get in a longer hike, run, walk on Saturdays or Sundays, if you can, because most people have a little bit more time. That's usually the best. And then during the week, get in a couple elevated walks, a little bit of walk hikes for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you can do. That's what I would do. If someone only had access to machines, light dumbbells, and Smith, that's Eric. Honestly, that's kind of a complicated question. I mean, a Smith is fine. You can do a lot with Smith machines. The light dumbbells bothers me, because you really should have. I don't want to say need. You really should have some dumbbells in the mix when you are, trying to build muscle. You got machines, you got dumbbells. If you don't have a barbell, no big whoop. You can make do with a Smith. I used to be really anti-Smith back 15 years ago. I was younger and it was like, fuck the Smith machine. Get under a barbell. But now everybody's under a barbell. And there could be some good uses with the Smith. I don't like the Smith overhead press, but if you set it up properly and it works for you, go ahead. Don't really care. I always will prefer barbells over a Smith, except, on some minor lifts. But, Eric, it's a tough one because of the light dumbbells. That's kind of a monkey wrench into the whole thing. Clue, are there any long-term health consequences? No. Most people do. Let's analyze this compared to the average person. Most people lose weight and gain weight over the course of a year anyway. Having a little bit of cutting or keeping your weight maintained. Most people that are doing this are eating really well compared to the general public. No, there's obviously no studies on this because nobody does it, but we do know what the consequences are of abuse with food or alcohol or anything else. And people that are bulking or cutting are not abusing their body. We're in slight cuts, we're slight deficits, slight bulks, and we're taking care of ourselves. So no, I would say the absolute opposite. Anyone that's focused on their health in any way to the point where they're doing precision dieting is in the top 1% of 1%. It can be easy to track progress with arm size through measurements, but for delts, the only thing you can do is just tape measure around your delts, but then you're going to get your back and chest. So, I don't know. Photos, you can tell when somebody has small delts. So, photos are going to be the big thing there. Deep voiced Uno. This is more of a suggestion, but would like to see a video of how you'd structure a maximalist upper lower or torso limbs for those warriors that like to train about 2 hours. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, I would have to think about that. I'm sitting here thinking, would I add in extra exercises? Would I add in extra sets? I'd probably do a combination of both. Probably at least one more exercise or the opportunity to add in one more set. But it's a very good question. Something bit me in the back of the neck. Very good question. Hey, big hairy ugly dude, are you bald? No, I'm not bald. Look what I use at my desk, right here. These things are like sometimes when I'm just answering questions, I'm just doing this. Gotta keep my sexiness. You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit of fur right there I noticed in the mirror last night. We'll get that right now. I wish I could do that with my eyebrows, because I'm starting to get those old man eyebrows where they start to get wings. All right, enough about that. What do we got next here? LKJ at 2. How can you track proximity to failure when doing dead hangs to train? When you're doing a dead hang, when you fall off, you're at failure. So, I don't know. I don't know what why you would jump off earlier than that. It's hard to judge if you're stopping. It's the same thing, really. I mean, you're overthinking things a little bit. I'm just being honest. You're in the overthinking side of things. What you're trying to do is progress, not worrying about what's causing the failure. I think there's some really strong limiters as far as how long you can hang. I think isn't there like a 2-minute challenge where no one can really hang longer than 2 minutes? There's going to be limiters everywhere. But if you're training hard and you're trying to train progressively and regularly, you're going to get improvements. So I wouldn't overthink it. That's not the best way to train forearms. That's more of a grip type of thing. Sounds like a good way to encourage elbow tendonitis, in my opinion. If you want forearms, I'd rather see you doing wrist rollers or wrist curls or captains of crush grippers or stuff like that. How do you know if you're getting enough volume? You just have to progressively overload. If you're trying to get big forearms and you're just doing hangs, there's not a lot of opportunity for progressive overload. I mean, you're going to kind of cap out after 2 or 3 months. How long can you hang? How much volume of hanging can you do? I mean, pretty soon you're just going to be a rock climber. And, they're not known for massive forearms. So do some work that involves progressive overload. Even after following your bulldozer approach, it can be hard to make progress on. Laterals, lifts like laterals, you're not going to make a lot of progress on. You're not. And the best thing I could tell you guys is this is why I advise putting as many lifts as possible in the mix that allow for a progression opportunity. You're going to cap out on some of these lifts. That's just reality. There's nothing you're not going to get 70-pound side lateral raises. I do 25-pound side lateral raises for block sets right now. I've been training for 38 years. That's why I do bulldozer laterals. Not bulldozer rest pause, but bulldozer laterals. You get pretty strong on those, and they have a bigger progression opportunity. But what you guys need to understand is you train long enough. It's like flying close to the sun. Lifts are going to slow down a lot, and they're going to slow. And that's not a bad thing. You just have to prioritize whether you want to keep them in or you want to put in another lift that has a wider progression opportunity. So when I'm training shoulders or any body part, we have to balance lifts that are super intense with a big progression window with how much can we actually do during a week before we need to downgrade and do a little bit more milder of an exercise, right? So leg work, for example, you could do squats, you could do leg press, you could do hack squats, you could do pendulum squats all in a week. That would be very, very difficult because you got 4 big hitters. So sometimes it's okay to downgrade a little bit in intensity and do something at the end, kind of as the last 5%. We have to view the last 5% as what it is, the last 5%. You might not be progressing, but after you've done a lot of hard work, adding in a little bit of, the coup de grace, the little bit of a finisher, the little bit of a slap on the ass on the way out the door, if you will. It's not a big impact lift, but it's a lift you can do once you've done all the hard lifts, and you can add a little bit of icing on the cake, a little bit of cumulative volume, a little bit of cumulative tension. So you have to decide at that point whether you want to upgrade the lift, you want to rest pause the lift, or there's some lifts I've been riding for 20 years. You get them to a point where you can't progress, and that's okay because you're getting pretty big, you're getting pretty strong, and you can't force things, right? You can't force things at a point. So when you get some lifts to that point, you just have to hold steady and either decide whether you're going to hold steady or you want to upgrade. Thoughts on taking a few breaths in between reps on hack squats. Any lift that's super intense and you're in the middle of a set and you want to take a rest or two and then attack, yeah, go for it. As long as you're consistent, as long as you're consistent and you're focused on progression. On bench, when I'm like, I got to take a breath sometimes and then do another rep. I'm not counting seconds or counting breaths. Just be reasonable here. But hypertrophy muscle building is about hard work, not just numbers. Okay. So don't overcomplicate things. We want to progress. And don't turn this in. If you're going to, go super rest pause, you're better off using my bulldozer rest pause protocol. But yeah, it's okay to do that on one set. Focus on progression, add weight when your progression indicators hit that mark. But always remember, we are about hard work, and this is hard work over just numbers. Does that make sense? Oh my God, not calling you out, but every week, man's got something. When you say traps and triceps are important for aesthetics, but chest and biceps it seems you're preferring them. Dude, I am so over you. Every week you got some bullshit on here. If you don't believe what I have to say, go fucking watch Athlete X. Seriously. If you think traps aren't important, you think biceps are really that fucking important when you're walking down the street? They're a small muscle group. And no one sees your fucking chest, dude. Seriously. If you're walking down the street, they're going to see how big you are. Every week you come with horseshit or something. I'm just seriously over you. Go fucking follow Athlete X. How about that? Timothy, something I might, seriously, this dude comes with crap everywhere. I'm not calling you out, but I think you're biased. Now, you know what? You guys can do whatever you want, okay? He comes on every week with monkey piss questions. I'm not calling you out, but I think you're an idiot. Okay, great. Go fucking follow Athlete X. I don't give a shit. If you guys think I'm an idiot, I don't care. If you think my advice is bad, go follow somebody else. There are plenty of other influencers out there. Influencers. I'm not trying to be an influencer. But if you I said what I have said to clarify, because man can't seem to understand the big picture. And yeah, I'm bashing on him a little bit, but let's be real. That's not what I fucking said. Right? So if you're going to quote me, get your shit together, dude, and quote me properly. Quote me properly. It's nothing more aggravating than someone who can't actually take time reading comprehension. So what I said was, if you want to look big, you have to have big shoulders and traps and back and triceps and quads. That'll make you look big. No one can see your chest in a hoodie or shirt, right? It might be a little bit of icing on the cake. Biceps are one of the smaller muscle groups, and they're not that impressive. So he's like, you just want to talk about the muscle groups that are biggest on you. Well, yeah, triceps and traps are some of my bigger muscle groups, but so is my back. So are my quads. The only muscle groups I have that are really, mediocre are biceps. So I don't know, dude. The thing with this guy is like every week it's some horse shit. It's some I'm not calling you out or go follow somebody else. Look, if you don't believe what I have to say, I'm not gonna boo-hoo about it. Go follow somebody else. I mean, if you don't like my advice, don't fucking keep sticking your dick in my face every week. You know what I'm saying? Go elsewhere. All right. Timothy, something I might get with 7/8 I can push to. I mean, adding a little bit of rest in between sets is fine, but you don't want to overdo it, if you're on a lift and you can take a breather for a second, get another rep. I always think about hard work over progression. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to rant on, but like every week this guy comes with something, and when somebody leads with, I don't mean to call you out, but you're biased. Like, you know what? If you don't like what I have to say, go somewhere else. Right? Literally, don't waste my time. I might be an idiot. I might be wrong, but go over in the camp, your little camp of foo-foo lifters that just want to do their curly whirlies all day and think you can get big arms by doing bicep curls. Hashtag LOL, hashtag LOLs, right? Hashtag Rolfcopter. Like, if you think you're going to get big arms doing bicep curls, I mean, seriously, have you been to the internet before? Have you studied physiques before? Have you studied any articles on big arm size before? Have you looked at anyone with big arms? Sometimes you get the rare guy with the softball bicep that looks pretty impressive. But, okay, great. If that's what you want, that's all genetics. If all you want is a softball, I've seen guys with the softball bicep and pity ass triceps, and I'll tell you what, that's not what I want. And if that's what you want, that's great. I'm not judging. You can go over with your other guys that want to do all you want to do is curl all day long. You can go in your curl cults, right? But Massive Iron is about building as much strength and muscle from head to toe as humanly possible. And all you bicep cultists and all you I just want to do chest and biceps and abs all day long. I just want to do chest. Look, you guys can go over in your own group and start a website called Massive Beachbody or something, right? You can go do your thing. No, none of us give 8 fucks about it, right? Because this channel is about getting everything about as strong and as big as humanly possible. Always has been, always will be. Chest, biceps, everything. But if you think you're going to look big just doing your chest and your little absy wabsies and your little biceps, you're wrong. As I train at home, I sometimes do things like turn the oven on, chop veggies. Yeah, man, whatever works for you, whatever intra-workout protocol works for you. I'm not judging. Wow. Tips for nailing nutrition, but most meals are home cooked with basic ingredients. You gotta get a grip on that, Tim. I'm not being hard on you, but oils and butters and things, you gotta get a grip on that. You gotta get some form of measurement. It does matter a lot. That stuff can add up quickly. So I use, like when I cook eggs, I use an olive oil spray. And I just use a little bit of, a little bit of it, but I over guess, what I use. When I use butter, I measure it because you can get into trouble quickly on that stuff. So you got to measure what kind of oils you're using and butters you're using, because if you just wing it, you can be 200, 300, 400 calories off during the course of a day if you're using it frequently. Mike has said that some world-class marathon runners are 5%. I've never seen that. Guys, I've been around runners for the last 5 years. I've never seen a runner at 5%. Mike's, I don't know what world Mike lives in, but the runners I've been around, I've been coached by two of the top runners in the world. I've been around some of the top runners in the world, on my trail run journeys. And I've been around not just some of the top runners, but a lot of great trail runners. None of them are 5%. None of them are even close. They're not, no. They're lacking muscle, but they don't have much muscle, and they're not even close to 5%. This is such a I'm just being honest. In my opinion, this is such a silly overgeneralization, just pulled out of the butthole. Mike might have seen one runner on TV, but in the real world, this is not the case. And I'm not bashing on Mike, but this is silly. It's not even close to reality. You said that teens shouldn't cut. True. I did some cuts. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not a doctor. But teens, you still have your growth plates or whatever. I'm not a medical professional. I know your growth plates are still developing, and you need nutrients. So, did we all do stuff as a teen that are borderline probably silly or abusive? Yeah. Are there a bunch of teens out there right now living on Doritos and McDonald's and Cokes that are abusing their body? Yeah. A minor cut with healthy foods probably 10 times better than McDonald's, but I don't want teens to cut. I want them to clean up their diets and eat to satiety. That's as deep as I'm going to go, because I'm not going to speculate on body damage, because that would be incorrect. That'd be like me talking to, like Dr. Mike talking about marathon runners are all 5%, but they just lack. No, they're not 5%. I've seen some pretty sloppy, jiggly love handles and bellies on male runners that are 150. Just a little bit of, Mike. I've been on a back, shoulders, chest, arm, leg split from massive iron for about 17 weeks now. Made a few adjustments. Okay. Looks good. Wasn't sure if there was a question. Program is still mostly rep goal. That's fine. But I've noticed workouts have come to quite long. Yep. I mean, at some point, workouts are going to get longer. They're going to get longer the stronger you get. I only have 3 days a week. You got to look at weekly volume and how you want to structure it. And you also have to look, if you're under a time crunch, you have to look at, are there exercises that are zapping my time? So squats and deads and bench for me are really zap my time. So do you need these exercises? No. What exercises are zapping your time? When I do chest, for example, I do bench, I do dumbbell bench, and those alone take me nearly an hour to do, probably more like 50 minutes to do those two lifts. Such big weights, a lot of time plugging plates and doing warm-up sets. When I do a back without deadlifts, it goes by a lot more quickly. Yesterday, I did T-bar rows. I did lat pull downs. I did machine rows. I did 4 sets of each. And I got that done in like 43 minutes. So you would have to play around. You have to kind of analyze, are there any exercises taking a lot of time? And if there are, I'm not telling you need to drop them, but it might not be a bad idea. Like on deads, you could cut down to 2 sets. On squats, maybe you could cut down to 2 sets. Let me blow my nose. Sorry, little sinus issues. All right, when I started training, my dream was to do a 1-arm pull-up. I've seen one person do that in my life live. Tough to do. I never got it, and now my legs are bigger, so I feel like I'll never get it. How to know when to give up? Well, if you're getting further and further away from your goal and you've been trying, I don't know. I do know that pull-ups can be super tough for a lot of people. And that's an extremely difficult feat. I will say, if you want to achieve that feat, you're probably going to have, that's a very specific goal. So you're probably going to have to really dedicate a lot of time and energy when you have a specific goal. Like if you wake up and say, I want to run a marathon in under 4 hours, 3.5 hours, what you have a very specific, intense goal, right? Not all specific goals are intense, but you have an intense specific goal. And, you know, it's going to require a lot of focus. So to get to that goal, you have to ask yourself, do I want to invest a lot of time into this goal? Or if I don't have that time to invest into this goal, um, then you should probably give it up. Like if I was going to invest in, doing a one arm pull up, I would have to focus on getting my body weight lean. I'd have to focus on doing multiple days per week where I was doing pull up exercises and just stuff for that specific goal. Does that make sense? And I just want to apologize again for the rant. I get on this channel to help people. And why I get frustrated with like somebody like Man is like I have my philosophies, and if you don't believe my philosophies, I'm okay with that. But if you're just going to come around and poke at why people, like, if somebody disagrees with somebody's philosophies and they're reasonable, like I don't agree with everything that Dr. Mike says, and so on and so forth. But I know if you follow the broad picture of advice, his advice, you're going to be fine. And the same thing with any coach. So, any reasonable coach, we're not going to agree on everything, but I know if you follow the big picture of Dr. Mike's advice, you're going to be good. And you follow the big picture of GVS or Bald Omni-Man or Stand Strength or Basement Bodybuilding or all the other guys, you're going to be good. We might have 10% in the periphery that we don't agree on, but I know if you follow the majority of their advice, you're going to be good because it's reasonable. And a lot of times we just disagree on the really small, trivial 5 to 10% of stuff, right? So what I don't understand in this industry is why when someone doesn't believe something or doesn't buy into somebody's philosophy, that they have to fucking bother them all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's this type of person, in the fitness industry, what a wise man once said, there's life givers and life suckers. Okay. There's life givers and life suckers. Life givers enhance people's lives. They do their best to add to people's lives. The positivity, encouragement, education, whatever. And then you have life suckers. Those are like the barnacles that, like, you ever been like at a meeting, like a work meeting, and there's always that one guy that has 5 fucking stupid questions, right? Like, here we go. This is going to drag out the work meeting for like an hour. Like or the one guy that's like always posting the annoying, like, your advice is this, but, like, I don't know why people that don't agree, like, if there's something I don't agree with, I'm not like going over to their website every day to annoy them, right? I'm spending time doing the things that are productive for my goals. So anyway, enough about that. What's your specialty bar and why? My favorite of all time probably is the Buffalo bar. And, if I'd have known about the safety squat bar, probably the safety squat bar. Here's why. Like, so many squatters are programmed that they have to squat with a super tight grip. That works well when you're young, on the lighter side weight-wise, and don't have a lot of mass. As you add back mass and rear delt mass and trap mass, and like, it's going to force your hands to, it's going to be harder for your hands to get back that far. So what happens is we start to stress the shoulders more and more. There was a point around 2007 where I was straining my shoulders so much trying to keep this tighter grip, getting under the bar on squats. I thought I had to. It never crossed my mind I could widen my grip. Then I went to a powerlifting meet and saw some guys with a wider grip. And then I realized if I go wider grip, it's easier on my shoulders. And then I realized if I use a buffalo bar, it's much easier on my shoulders. So I started using a buffalo bar. My squat, my shoulders improved, and I was able to squat again without pain. My squat was moving up. And I think it's just general common sense. As you add mass back there, it's going to be harder to get your hands back, right? And this is going to pose issues. So I think for the average individual that is serious about squats, that if you're into powerlifting, a buffalo bar or a curve bar is probably a good training option to save your shoulders wear and tear over the long run. And if you're not, a safety squat bar is what I would use for your squats. Adding to the 1-rep arm pull-up question, I have long arms. It would be easy to make a knee-jerk reaction saying, according to the calculations, you have no chance, right? But the bottom line is it's going to take a lot of dedication, a lot of specific training, and you just simply have to ask yourself, do you want to do it? Zachary, morning, massive peeps. How's it going? Zach, thanks for tuning in. Given that I don't compete, could I always train chest using a slingshot? Absolutely. Absolutely. Save those shoulders. No, not at all. I used a slingshot a long, long time. Never hindered my chest development, never hindered my tricep development, saved my shoulders. There's so much overthinking. If you get strong using a slingshot, a bench support device, you're still going to build big chest. I noticed no difference in my chest soreness and size using a slingshot and not using a slingshot. Too much overthinking in the industry, and I'm not saying you're overthinking, Zach, but all this overthinking culture makes us feel like one small variable change is going to be a difference maker. The truth is, if you're training hard, training consistently, getting stronger, using hard sets, your chest is going to be fine, slingshot or no. You should train for yourself, not girls. That being said, which muscle do you think they like most on dudes? I think it depends on the age of the woman. And it's highly specific, but I will say that when I got single again in my mid-40s, the older, more mature women tend to like a bigger guy. Like not fat, but more muscular, maybe with a little bit of body fat on it, not fat, not a gut per se. But I think it really depends on age. I just find that women over 40 tend, not all of them, because we don't want to generalize, they tend to like bigger dudes. And I don't know, 18, 20, 22-year-old women, it's different now since all you kids are fat. Just a joke. It's just humor. Relax. Just a joke. But in my day, the 18 and 22-year-old men were all pretty tiny, relatively. I was 154-ish headed into college. So I think it all depends on the age, and there's so much different personal preference. We live in a good era in the sense that it's okay to have personal preference. Back when I was, there are certainly some things that are over the line in our modern world. But I will say back in the day, when I was 18, when I was 19, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm just saying the way it was. Okay. So back in my day, a girl that was 15 to 20 pounds overweight was obese, considered a fat girl. I'm not saying I labeled it. I'm just telling you the way it was. Don't jump on me. Don't cancel me. So there was a lot of social pressure, derived pressure, not to be with that type of person, right? So things have changed a lot. And I'm not encouraging anybody to undergo bad habits, but I think we've evolved a little bit, where we're not quite as like that. I don't know what younger women like because I'm an old man, right? I'm 55. I don't know anymore. So I'm just being real. Jason, is honey healthy or just an excuse to eat sugar? I don't know. This is a debate. Honey was a good source of, if you could find it, back in the days of, getting in calories. I don't particularly like honey. I think a little bit's fine. Let's be real. I mean, if you're eating a little bit of honey each day in something, it's not like you're eating healthy people tend to eat honey. Unhealthy people tend to, if we're generalizing, tend not to eat honey. They tend to have Mountain Dews, right? So I don't know. A little bit's going to be fine. A little bit's going to be fine. I don't think people are abusing honey. I've never seen anybody abuse honey, so I'll just kind of leave it at that. Does a lifter ever need to track sodium? Not ratios, but you need to make sure you're getting in enough. So from my experience in trying to figure out the electrolyte issue when it came to trail running and trying to figure out what electrolytes I needed on the trail during 12-hour days in the heat, sodium was by far and away the most important. If I was getting in my sodium, I was usually fine. I would get in a little potassium. I think we need to focus on both. We do not need to avoid sodium. Adding a little bit is good for energy, especially during a cut. It is an electrolyte. Let's not forget that. And we definitely don't want to avoid it. It's an electrolyte. Potassium, we have to make sure we're getting in some potassium foods every week. So I think it's good to be aware of getting in potassium if you're not getting in like your potatoes or your potassium-rich vegetables. If you don't get in a couple, 2-3 choices a week, I think you're putting yourself just in a bad way because it's a vital electrolyte. So it's good to have an eye on things. We don't need to micromanage ratios. The body is not that fragile, but we do need to make sure we're getting in both. When you were at your biggest, did the general public know you were very muscular? When I was 346 pounds, I just looked like a big fat ass. I did. No one paid any attention to me. And that's not a sad, play the violin story. That's just the way it was. And I don't think anybody knew I had any muscle, right? Because, like, if I was taking, like, Olympia level PEDs, and you look like muscle, your shoulders are as big as my head and stuff, you can kind of tell when somebody's fat, that they look like a wall. I look big. I look intimidating, kind of like a wall, but I don't think anybody really knew. It's just losing 100 pounds of fat made a big difference. I digest milk just fine. Is the anti-milk talk? Yes, it's all propaganda. Milk is milk. Milk is mother's milk. Oh, it's from a cow. It's still rich in nutrients. It's one of nature's foods. And if you digest it, use it if you want it. Some of the things like butter and heavy cream have some of the wealthiest resource of phytonutrients, phytochemicals, and things like that. Butter, milk, they're just rich in phytochemicals and some of these obscure micronutrients. Super rich. So, ignore this propaganda. Last live, I mentioned some Reuters being smaller than you. I was talking about Jerry Ward. Well, Jerry Ward, when I met Jerry Ward, he wasn't a Reuter. I mean, Jerry Ward did look smaller than me when I met him, but he wasn't, when I met him, he didn't look like he was on roids at all. When I met Jerry Ward, the few times he came to Tiger Fitness, he looked super small. Ain't no way he was taking anything at that time. If he did, he was just blowing smoke up people's Badooskis. You want to see a picture of Jerry Ward when I was with him? Let me see if I can find him. I should have the picture up really, really easy to find. So hold on one second, guys. It won't take me long. Photos posted by you. There we go. All right, so Jerry Ward looks about as natty as you can get in this photo. Let me present screen share. Okay, so I'm going to remove the comments so you can see it. Like me compared to Jerry Ward here, I'm flexing, guys. I'm doing this, right? I'm making my chest pop. I'm flexing the arm. I'm flexing. I'm doing this. I'm doing like a semi-most muscular because I'm taking a picture with Jerry Ward, so I'm going to out-angle him, right? But you can tell, like, when he took off his hoodie and stuff, he looked, I don't know. If he was on anything, it was so trivial. He's literally the smallest influencer I've ever met. And I can't, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just saying he is the smallest influencer I've ever met with a big channel. And I didn't meet him like, I came across him like 2 or 3 times. The first time was at the Arnold, 8 years ago. And I don't even recall how big he was. He didn't look that big back then. Jerry Ward never looked big to me. So I don't know I have no clue what Jerry was on. But I can tell you when I saw Jerry train at the Tiger Fitness gym, like, again, I'm not being disrespectful, but I've never seen anybody train so like a wimp. It was just like there's no way I could grow the way it was. Just super fluffy, no passion, no weight, no nothing. I don't know if Jerry Ward really trained. I didn't see him at his heyday, but when I did see him, David Lade, I have no idea who David Lade is. I know who he is. I have no idea what he looks like compared to other guys. And I appreciate, I'm never trying to argue with anybody. I'm just going to shoot you guys straight. But last week Clue said that I was bigger than people on roids. And I've had my picture taken with everybody. Jerry's the smallest person I've ever met in person, including guys that were natural. I think GVS would make him look small. Rico, how's it going, Rico? Doc, I find when I do bicep curls and I try to rest only 1 to 2 minutes, I lose somewhere. That's fine. That's what you want. That's normal. You don't want to rest longer to get reps. We're not chasing reps. We're chasing hard work. We're not chasing reps. That's normal. There should be a decay if you're doing the first set hard, there should be a decay. There should be a rate of decay. If you can do the same reps on set 2, and then on set 3, you should be working the last set for max safe reps. Okay. So you can eventually move up in weight. But if you're pushing each set, if you're pushing every set for max safe reps, not to failure, because that's not the same thing, but for maximum safe quality reps, if you're pushing every set like that, you're going to have a rate of decay. And you don't want to stretch out rest just to bring reps up. We're about working hard. Keep the rests reasonable, and progress in that range. Does that make sense? All right, before we move on, just a reminder, free coaching slots. I have 10 free coaching slots. You can head over to the community tab on YouTube to check out how to apply. You just got to fill out a simple form. It takes 3 minutes. You can head over to my Instagram at Ben the Barman. My latest post tells you how to apply. I got 10 1-month coaching slots available. Drew, we're over 100. We're at a record. Thank you guys for watching. Best advice for longevity and training. The biggest advice is, number one, evolve your training based on needs. If something's starting to beat you up, you have to kind of adjust a little bit. If a certain deadlift protocol is beating you up, you might have to make adjustments. If training frequency is beating you up, you have to make adjustments. Don't stick to something just because somewhere in your brain or somewhere online it feels like you should be doing that. Like, the key to longevity is evolving training based on what's happening in the gym. You also have to live to fight another day. If anything is off or not feeling right in the gym, you need to be willing to take time away, to pull away, to finish, to end the workout, to take a couple days off. We always safe sets. That's why forever on this channel, I've never talked about failure. What I've said a million times on this channel is push a set for as many quality reps as possible, stopping the set when you feel like form is breaking down or you feel like you're going to fail on the next rep. So when something doesn't feel right or form is breaking down, you stop the set. And that's the realm you progress in. And you do that, you're going to improve your chances of longevity. We're not after punishment. We're after safe quality progress. All right. I'm 19, started training 3 months ago. Trained so hard in those 2 months, every single set to failure. What to do? Use my programs and my protocols. I'm not dumbing this down. I'm not trying to turn this into a commercial, but find my workouts and use what I just said. Safe quality reps. We're not training to failure. We're stopping a set when we feel like we might fail or when form breaks down. Okay. And you also need to make sure somebody is looking at your exercise form. If not, there's a good chance you're going to be using lifts that are beating you up. You also need to use a program that's wise for your level. A lot of guys will dive into these programs where they're doing squats 3 times a week, and then they're adding deadlifts on top of things, and their form is awful. And that's not a criticism. That's just they haven't had time to really work on form yet, and it's going to beat them up. So join Team Massive Iron, or if you need help, send me a form video on Instagram or a question on Instagram. But no one should be in pain like that after 2 months of training. John, I know you're a fan of quick and aggressive cuts. So how much of a deficit do you recommend? It's really on the individual and what they can take. I don't want starvation. I don't want you going too deep. I don't find that sustainable. I'm at 1,800 calories max right now, and I can sustain that all day. I sit a lot, so that can skew my calorie intake by 400 calories or so compared to where people think that is. But you don't want to go too radical where you're doing, you just can't perform in the gym at all. So you want to go as low as sustainable. And, that's going to depend on each individual. Every client I work with is different. So, probably 1,800 is a good litmus test. If you're young and you have a super fast metabolism, then you probably want to start at around 2,200, 2,400, and then we dial things down from there. So there's no one single answer. How to start workout again after a gap of 1.5 months. I just posted on this the other day on Instagram. Let me pull it up. I don't mean to spam you guys, but I just posted this on Instagram, and it's a really good tool. And I want to bring it up and just cover this really quickly. Present share screen. Here we go. So if you are more than 10 days away from a big compound lift, that means squats, bench, deads, overhead press, even a pendlay row or dumbbell row, something really big. You want to drop weight 10%. If you are more than 20 days away from a big lift, drop it 20. More than 30 days away, drop it 30. You're getting more than 40 days away, you're going to start with probably the bare minimum and slowly, sanely work back up. So I hope that helps. Is there anything wrong with eating carbs? No, not at all. Doesn't matter. No downsides. Have heard a lot of people saying these people are idiots. Just being honest. Carbs should be minimized. No. It's okay to have a balance. I eat rice. I eat potatoes. I train hard. I need some complex carbs in my diet. So carbs are, when you are cutting, really the only micro or macronutrient you can cut a lot of is carbs. You can cut some fat and bring it down to 20 and focus on more lean protein sources. But during a cut, it makes sense to cut carbs because they're probably one of the only things you can cut. You don't want to cut protein on a cutting diet. Number one, for satiety, you tend to feel better and fuller when you have more leaner protein sources on a cut. And you don't want to cut fats because your body needs it for brain function, organ function, skin, all that kind of good stuff. So during a cut, you want to cut carbs. But when you're not on a cut, just stick to reasonable carb sources: oats, rice, quinoa, taters, things like that. Things with nutrients, so don't worry about that. Post-workout, you want some fast-digesting carbs kind of to get your glycogen, the processes, the recovery process started, but it's not super critical. You don't want to go into a workout feeling flat with no glycogen either. So just be reasonable and ignore the wacky people out there. Mike has said that some natural supplements secretly have steroids in them. Could be. Can you trust the supplement industry? There's a lot of companies you can't trust. There was a study, I don't know, years ago. When I say years, 5, 7, maybe 10, who knows? Time flies, right? That the big brands at Walmart or Walgreens were highly highly inaccurate what they contained compared to even from pill to pill. So yeah, you can't trust a lot. It's better to have a reputable brand, someone that's been tested and you can trust. So can you trust the supplement industry? It's like saying, can you trust an influencer, a fitness influencer? Some are like 20%, some are like 80%, and some do their best to be 99%. So look for the companies that do their best to be 99%. You might pay a little bit more, but that's, you get what you pay for. Happy Friday, Steel Rat. How's your cut going? Perfect. It couldn't be better. How do you even survive? I sit 12 hours a day doing client work for starters. And my metabolism, that's just allows me, I don't want to stretch out my cut. So yesterday I had 1740 calories. I'm averaging probably 1770, 1775. This allows me to lose about 10 pounds a month. That's a good rate for me. That's where I don't want to drag my cut out, forever. I want to get it off. So I'm one of the advantages I have is that my strength levels haven't really changed a lot over the last 15 years, 20 years. I've gotten a little bit stronger, right? But it's pretty easy to maintain strength for the most part. Yeah, when I lost 100 pounds, I lost a lot of my squat and bench. But in the short run, I can train pretty much the same. If my numbers slowly go down, I'm not worried about it. Big Ben. Hey, big, hairy, ugly dude. What do you do to strengthen your mental toughness? This is a good question. Let me get a drink. For example, grinding on that last rep. What's going on in your head? I fight myself. I'm constantly fighting myself, and I think that's a big key. There is a voice in your head that wants you to sit down, that wants you to stop, that wants you to eat the pizza and drink the beer. And I refuse to listen to that voice. I refuse to fight 99% of the time. I refuse to give up. 99% of the time, I'm going to fight. I know that voice is the enemy, and that's the first thing. That voice in your head that tells you to stop, that tells you not to push, that tells you to not go the extra mile, that tells you to eat the pizza, that tells you to drink the beer, that voice is the enemy. And you have to first and foremost understand that voice is the enemy. You're not going to fight the enemy 100% of the time, but you do have to fight the enemy. You do have to be aware that that's the enemy. That is the enemy, that voice. Stop. Don't get out of bed. Don't work out. Just sit. Just rest. Just eat something fattening. That's the enemy. And whether I win or whether I lose, I fight the enemy. Fuck you. No, I am in control. I'm going to fight. I think that's an important part of the battle. That is a battle. You have to be aware that that's the enemy. What you do from there, that's everything. That's what matters the most. What you do in those situations. That's where mental toughness is forged. That's where mental strength is forged. In those moments when the voice is like, hey, fatty, quit running. Hey, fatty, don't push. This is where so many people fail in the muscle building world, the hard set world, right? I'm not telling you to do anything reckless, but they quit when the voice tells them to quit. I don't want to be mediocre. I fight as hard as I can. I don't know. Sometimes I've asked myself, does that require a degree of mental instability, right? Or is what I consider a little bit of mental instability, doing ridiculous things when my body wants to quit, is that unhealthy mentally? Is that unhealthy? Is that instability? Or is that what we need? Is that what's most important? Some people would probably call it insane. That guy's insane. No, I would say that guy's the most sane. That guy wants to survive, right? That guy wants to push when the body wants him to stop. In nature, right? If your life was on the line, or if you're in a fight, or you're fighting for food, or if you're just some animalistic alter reality, if you quit, you're doomed, you're dead. So you have to find a way to keep pushing, to keep grinding, to keep fighting back against the enemy. Josh, in the middle of a big move and will miss the gym for at least 2 weeks. I'm only able to eat breakfast and dinner. Dude, like if I'm moving, I'm eating all the pizza and all the whatever I can get. Especially if it's super taxing. I personally don't like to eat too big of a breakfast because I feel like I want to take a nappy, right? So this is highly individual, but if I would just eat what you can, and eat as much as you can. Even if you can't, you're not going to lose mass. So what if you were away from the gym for 2 weeks? So what if you even lost a half a pound? It'll come right back. Muscle memory is a real thing. Eating more food will help, keep you a little bit more anabolic, in my opinion. Does high intensity cardio have any health benefits for a gym rat? Getting your heart rate has general health benefits for anybody. So, yes, getting your heart rate elevated. We don't need to sprint or do explosive stuff. That's generally dangerous. But having an elevated heart rate beyond just doing resistance training is a good thing. If you can find a way to sustain it, for 60 to 120 seconds, elevated, not pegged. Just know the difference. How to program it? Find a form of cardio activity you like. Hiking up steep hills, jumping rope, elliptical. Have periods of that exercise where at least once a week for 60 to 120 seconds where you're pushing your speed, not recklessly, but up a little bit so your heart rate's elevated. If someone starts obese, but they have the first few pounds of their natural muscle already, so couldn't they reach closer to natural? We're creating really weird hypotheticals here. No disrespect, man. But to get anywhere close to your natural potential, you're going to have to work hard and train hard for a long period of time. 1 or 2 pounds of muscle, whether somebody's underweight or you're a man that's 120 pounds and you're underweight, or a dude that's 400 pounds and kind of can bench more, wherever you're at, the last 2 or 3 years are going to be impossibly hard. They're just going to be hard. They're going to require a lot of hard work. So it's kind of a non-hypothetical. It's not really, grounded in what it really requires to reach your natural potential. Josh, also can't cook my own food. Food quality is bad. Can you take like a little bag cooler? I used to get like the best quality deli meat I could, beef, turkey, whatever, chicken. And I used to get cheese slices, and you can keep those in a bag cooler and eat those pretty much on the go. Cashews are great on the go. Unless you're handcuffed, you can eat cashews. Things like that. Christos, turning my diet into lean and mean this month. 2 months to get. You can do it, man. You can absolutely do it. Just start that counter at 60 days and get after it. Yvonne, how's it going, Yvonne? I want to mention something. I changed recently on YouTube. There's subscribers on YouTube. I want to mention this real quick because I changed this week, and you can actually join Team Massive now from YouTube. There is a membership, and the memberships, I have an upper level membership. So the upper level, when you join, it actually gives you access to Team Massive. So check that out. Clue: if food labels are off, a lot of them are off, or rounded or truncated, then that means weighing foods not pointless at all. You're tightening your shot group, which is never pointless. And you do know the range you're eating. If you know here's the thing: if you know the consistent range you're in, whether they're a little bit off, you can still adjust from that range. Does that make sense? So let's say I'm drinking this protein drink. Whoops, can't really see it. It's too bright in here. This pure protein, and it says 140 calories. Let's say it's 150. Let's say I add up my calories every day and I get 1,800. Or let's say I add up my calories, I'm getting 2,200 and I'm not losing weight. I can still lower or raise it based off what I'm estimating my calories at. Does that make sense? Counting or tracking is always better than not. Never pointless. even if it's off, we can still adjust from that baseline, right? Even if it's off. So the more precise you get, there's always more benefit. Does that make sense? Big Tim, how would you applicability, how much applicability, sorry, I had to read that twice. It's not an easy word to say. How much applicability does the workout advice of most enhanced bro bodybuilders give? It really depends on the individual. It really, really does. It natural enhance, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of, craziness, like never trust the advice of a steroid. That's silly. It's just generalization. I know far more naturals that don't have a clue what they're talking about than I know enhance. So, would you recommend using straps or VersaGrips? Yes. Yep. You don't want to encourage elbow tendonitis. I'm 100% straps guy. Fight me, hate me, disagree, but I've had brutal elbow tendonitis that comes from gripping and over gripping. If you're going to train for 20, 30, 40 years, you do not want to deal with elbow tendonitis. You might not have it now, but every amount of gripping you do on a pull, deadlifts, RDLs, back work is going to catch up to you. If not, you're a lucky SOB. Chris V, happy Freitag. Is there a general rule for rest between sets? Yes. Don't worry about it, number one. Don't force it unless you're using a program that's rest pause. When you feel mentally and physically ready to go again, then go. Okay? That can vary workout to workout, set to set. Between some bench sets, I might need 4 minutes. Some I might need 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. Don't try to micromanage it. Always remember the point is to train hard, right? Training hard is the 99%, and all these other variables don't really mean anything in that context. Algernon Bro Split just joined Team Massive today. Thank you. I can't attend the track and field European Indoor Championships is on, and that's my crack. Yeah, enjoy, man. No worries. We all have our cracks, so get your crack in. Vince, when you were running a bro split, how many sets were you averaging a week for major muscles? I run a bro split now, usually 12. Back's going to be a little bit more because I add deads on top of back, so usually about 12 for back, chest, shoulders, and quads. And then I add deadlifts on top of that for back. Harut, Massive Friday. Thank you, Harut. And Big Paul from Team Massive. How many rest days before testing? If you're going to test a max on bench, you want to make sure your tricepticons, your shoulders, you want to make sure everything is recovered, but not so long where you start to decay. So I would probably give them a good solid week. At a certain stage of training, if someone doesn't feel the need to use a belt, but would get him more, I hate belts. I do. I don't use them. I don't feel the need to use them. I don't care if they give me a rep or two. I'm not. If you're doing powerlifting and every rep matters, yeah, but nah. LV, what's going on, LV? What would you say to someone who plans to compete in 5 years and is now a late beginner? Play the long game, focus on hard work, safe quality progression, and the most important thing, nail your freaking nutrition. Nail it. Body by Dan. Welcome aboard, Dan. Glad you're here. Are you watching the Arnold Strongman? I actually forgot it was the Arnold until I saw some people going to the Arnold this weekend. Probably not. I have tonight I'm going to be doing client work. I'm not even sure when it's on. Tomorrow, I usually do client workouts and then plot content for the week. And that's usually, and then I'm going for a run tomorrow. Back on the trail finally. So that's probably going to be my Saturday. I don't usually watch Strongman. I don't hate it. I just I don't have enough of an interest in it to actively watch. No disrespect, man. How do you strengthen mental toughness? Oh, we went through that. All right. So anything before now gets a chance to win a free shirt, hoodie, or way. And I'm going to give it to Chris V today. Chris, hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman, or email me, benthebarman@gmail.com. You get a free hoodie, a free way, or a free t-shirt, whatever you want. So I'm going to have a quick protein drink. And we're an hour and 20 in. We are rocking today. I thank you. I'm going to stay on as long as you guys have questions. So keep them coming. And we'll keep rolling. It's about 30 grams right there. We're good. That's about 30 grams on the whole. What do we got next? Sam. I can drink beer like that too, but I haven't had beer in a while. Do you think that if your arms are lagging, that you should add an arm day? The first thing I would assess is, are your presses lagging? Are your pulls, your rows lagging? If your rows and presses are lagging, that's going to be your 80%. Is there any harm in adding a junk arm day? No. Usually I recommend like adding that on a Saturday or something. Like a junk day where you had an arm day and maybe you need to get your face pulls in because you like Athlean X. Just a joke. You don't want to train abs, but maybe you want to do abs on the weekend, right? A junk day, you can do arms and any other calves, whatever you didn't do during the week. Kill Bill, 8s. I've been running your hard gainer program for a few weeks and have been making good progress. I plan on running it for a good while. I would probably jump into the upper posterior split. It's what most of my clients use. It's probably a good next launching point. And I have variations. I made this week a video about why I don't like the upper lower. This is the upper posterior, and I got some variations in there as well if you're curious. You had me at salted caramel. What's your opinion about consuming cow's milk? Absolutely. Nothing bad about natural foods. A lot of hate, silly, good micronutrients and phytochemicals. Absolutely. If I were able to do weighted pull-ups, well, do I need to buy? Yeah, you want exercise variety. Exercise variety is a good thing. You can squat, but if you go run, it's going to leave you sore. Well, why is that? Because the body, the specific adaptation to specific demands, or specific adaptation to impose demands, right? Said every muscle hits, or every exercise hits the muscle a little bit differently. So having a little bit of variety and usually almost always has value. So absolutely. Advice for shin and foot pain. Lose weight. That's the biggest advice I would give you. It's going to put a lot of stress on your joints. Don't run on pavement. Don't run on trail, or don't run on track. Run on a trail. It's softer and easier on your joints. You got to get off the pavement if you can. I don't know where you run, but if you're on pavement or a hard surface, you're just doomed. You're doomed. Or on a treadmill, you're doomed. Doc Fit. Appreciate your efforts. What are your thoughts about exercise order? Your numbers and progression will be dependent on the order of your exercise. Yeah, as you move along in a workout, whether it's a body part split or a upper lower, there's going to be a rate of decay. That's fine. That's normal. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's why you start with the biggest hitters, the most opportunity for progressive overload first, and then you kind of move down the ladder. And there'll be some struggle, but part of this is working on our work capacity. So it's okay to struggle. we just progress in that realm, and that's kind of how things go. Does that make sense? Since most people PPL think they're 1 and 2 inches taller. Well, since most people, I read that as push pull leg. Sorry, that's my world. Since most people think they're 1 or 2 inches taller than they actually are, only in YouTube fitness, doesn't that mean obesity rates? I don't know. I don't know about most people thinking they're 1 or 2 inches taller than they are. I don't know about that. I'm not trying to be a dink or anything. Most people know their height. You mentioned that frequency does not matter. Correct. However, for strength, is it better to train that lift? It can be. I would do some form of concurrent periodization where you're using different rep schemes and different approaches. Yeah, I think once you build a reasonable base, before you build a reasonable strength base, no, you got to bring up your bases first. But once you reach some good intermediate strength levels, then there's no downside in trying that. But frequency doesn't really matter. We're talking mostly about muscle. So strength training is a lot different than muscle building. There's different things you can try for strength training that can have benefits. So absolutely, by all means, give it a try. Don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you. Parsa, how would you approach a split if you want to hit shoulders and back 2 times a week? I would do my upper posterior. Check out the video I released this week about the upper lower, and I would do the upper posterior or torso limbs or something like that. Big Rich Knapp. How's it going, Rich? Thanks for tuning in. I do my workouts at home using only dumbbells. Okay. That's fine. I think we got a follow-up. Can I apply for coaching? How much you can apply? I mean, I need to make sure you got enough equipment so I can, help productively. I mean, I help everybody. But if you only have, like, say, 30-pound dumbbells, there's nothing we could really do. I'm just being real. So just detail what you have, detail what you have, and we'll take a look. I don't want to discourage anybody, but if for anybody that's, I'm more concerned with your long-term results than I am with coaching or whatnot. If you don't have enough equipment, that's my big concern. So if you have only dumbbells, if you have heavier dumbbells, yeah, man, we can get it on. John, what is the best way to work in cardio? It really depends on what the cardio is. You can do it after your workout. You can do it first thing in the morning and make sure there's a gap between the morning cardio and your workout so that you're at least eating a little bit of a meal and getting your glycogen stores back up. You can do it on the weekends. You can do it on off days. Really, that's the best way. Aberrant. What's the progression scheme on 5, 10, 10, 20? Do you move up in weight? Yep. When you get 20 on the 4th set, you move up on weight. So the 5, 10, 10, 20 is what we're doing on bench is we're really trying to hammer our central nervous system. You use the same weight and you do 4 sets. 5 reps, 10, 10, 20. People are like, why do you do that? That second set's going to feel lighter than the first. Should. That third set's going to feel lighter than the second. Should. And by the time you get to the 20, you're going to be just flying. It's my way of really attacking the central nervous system a little bit, or really making it hyper aware, if you will. People that do this scheme tend to rock it up and bench like 20 pounds, 30 pounds in a short period of time if they just give it like 3 or 4 months. Dumbbells and donuts. Will some fairly gentle road cycling be better than? There's no better. Do what you like. That's better. Don't overthink this, man. I played basketball hardcore after lifting in my period of my best gains. So do what you like. That's the key. absolutely do what you like. Just eat enough food and structure it wisely so it's not impacting, leg day, and you're all good. Big Dr. AJ, good morning and great podcast. Thank you. Appreciate you tuning in every week. I really do. Sanat, I thought I was getting too fat during the bulk, so I decided to mini cut. I'm 1 week in and look small. Sanat, we need to have a talk. You're on this endless phase. I'm fat, I'm skinny, I'm fat, I'm skinny, I'm fat, I'm skinny. Sanat, I love you. I love you. I don't know you, but I love you. Know that. My love for all of you flows from the top of the mountains to the bottoms of the Gaines River or whatever the fuck, right? What you need to do is commit. We aren't about, I feel fat, I feel skinny, I feel fat, I feel skinny. Okay, excuse my annoying voice. But I want to tell you guys something. Hide the kids and turn this down. But fuck that. Fuck that. The best thing you do is fuck that. We're not into feelings. I feel fat. Okay, I feel skinny. I really do not give a fuck if you feel fat or feel skinny. You have to do what it takes to get to where you want to go. Not hammering on you, Sanat. I don't know you. But a bulk has to be 10 pounds over 3, 4, 5 months. Commit. You're not getting fat, right? Just, and you lose 5, and then you're too small. You are up here, Sanat. You are in your head. There's the liar in your head. Okay? And Sanat, if I had to guess, and I could be wrong, but I'm guessing you're under 160 pounds. Am I right? Am I wrong? Because I run into this a lot with guys that are a little bit on the lighter end of the scale. Not being hard, but like they don't want to get fat. And then they feel too small. Gotta commit. No other way other than over the mountain. Is there anything Smith machine is particularly good for? I mean, if you use it properly, I have clients that do hack Smith squats. You can do Smith bench. You can do Smith overhead. I've seen people do Smith RDLs. You can use it all right. I mean, I'm not going to be into the Smith hate camp I used to be. If I don't program Smith, but if a client wants to use Smith, we do it. As long as they're safe, smart, and it's not beating up the body, you can progressively overload a Smith. So, I'll keep the door open. Benjamin, do vertical presses impact the performance of? Yes. There's a good synergy between vertical pressing, overhead pressing, and horizontal pressing. From what I've seen, lifters that do both tend to build up both. Like it tends to impact the other lift. Bruce, thank you, Bruce. Bruce is a client of mine. I appreciate you joining in. John, I've been wanting to try one of the skull shavers. Yeah, man, I was skeptical, and I was super skeptical. And it gives me a tight, I mean, you still have to check the mirror because like you're always missing something. But you can just sit here and do this for a little bit. It catches it inside. And usually right here is where it has the hardest time of doing the thing. But yeah, this has been legit. It's been legit. And look, it's still at 82%. 82% battery. I got it during Christmas. It's March 1st. It hasn't gone down at all, really. I don't know what kind of battery it's got. It's supercharged. It's got like some kind of gamma radiation, run on gamma radiation. Clue, I don't care how much money you have. If you're paying $15,000 for 3 months, yeah, I don't know, man. If I have that kind of money, look, if I had $15,000 to pay for coaching, I'm just going to build a gym. Come on now. Build a gym. Hire cheerleaders and stuff in the gym for that cost. I don't know. Neil, I was thinking about benching once a week with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and using the 5, 10, 10, 20. Any reason that this would be less effective? Less effective? No. You're going to find that this is probably over 3, 4, 5 months going to give you a nice bump. I've never had anybody run this that hasn't got a bump in their bench. It's a good change of pace. It's not magic, but I will tell you, more than any other bench program I pulled this out of my butthole. I'm not going to lie. Back in the muscle and strength days, I'm like, I just started doing this. Why? I don't know. I was playing around in the gym one day and I'm like, hey, this is kind of fun. So I turned it into a workout. I don't know, 14 years ago. And, I've written a lot of workouts over the years, just giving people ideas. And more than any other workout, this thing has worked. It's not generally long-term, like over 6-8 months, but the people that run this always see a bump on their bench, like 20, 30 pounds. Who wouldn't take a bump on their bench of 20, 30 pounds in a short period of time? If protein intake is so important, it is. How do people in jail? Oh my God, dude. This is such the classic question. All they have time to do, they have access to the canteen. They have access to the canteen. They have access to the canteen. All they got is time to sleep, work out, and eat. So I can't imagine. They have access to the canteen 100%. I'm not laughing at you, Aberrant. This is such an ancient, one of the classic ancient riddles. But yeah, they have access to the canteen. John, I've been really liking how you've been making videos these past few months with your face on one side and the cliff notes. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm super focused on content this year. I'm not worried about subscribers. We got to the 100,000 mark. That's good to go. We got to the 100,000 mark. We're there, but we are focused on content this year. We're 100% focused. Hold on, this silly thing. I was going to show you guys something. We're 100% focused on content, right? We got this thing, right? Not really. I worked hard for it. I'm not going to toss it out the window, but I'm focused on content. I don't care how many, like yesterday I put up a video on warm-up sets, good quality, focused content. It's going to help people, the people that watched. Is it great for views? Is it as great as putting up Greg Doucette drinks toilet water, the drama videos? No. But I'm playing the content game now. I'm going to put out the best content I can. And I'm going to be as focused. Not all the time. Sometimes I'm going to do things for fun. I just am. It's just fun sometimes to do fun videos. But I'm going to put out as much quality content as I can, and I appreciate that feedback. I actually was talking with Team Massive this morning, and I thought about putting together a video how I would train Athlete X. Now, that sounds silly, right? But I was talking about his size, and he's smaller than people think. And that's not a diss, right? I'm not being disrespectful, not being critical, but he never gets above like that super 6% body fat. Someone that never gets above that 6% body fat level is super tight on their diet, like 365 days a year. You have to be, right? You have to be. So I was thinking, how would I train him for mass? So I'm like, that would be kind of a good video. What do you guys think? If I could have Athlete X for a year and train him using the Massive Iron system, what would I do to get him out of the tunnel? Then he could return back to, his dieting protocol. But what could we do? That would be kind of fun. Maybe he'd make a video about me. What if I could take that fat ass Massive Iron channel and have him for a year? What would he look like? Right. Hey, let him do it. I'm all for it. All right. Is there a goal weight? I was looking at that avatar. Is there a goal weight or goal weight window? A 6-foot male should have at a certain body fat percentage. I say like 210, 220 caps at 15% would be really, really good. 15, 18%. Chris, I'm 52, 6'2", 185. I train and compete in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and ride the bike. Great. Some good exercise choices. In terms of progress and adequate recovery, I would probably, if you're doing that stuff, I'd probably do a 3-day upper posterior. It's going to be more comfortable. You're going to get more recovery time. And it's just going to be a better fit for your activity level. Absolutely. Jet Sam, any tips on adapting one of your programs for training alongside sport? Well, the thing about sport is when you are in season, or you have in season, you have off season. So in season, your sport has to be the priority. We don't want to get injured. So in season, you train to maintain, right? And you're looking at 2-3 workouts a week, not a lot of intense training to maintain, probably maybe a little bit on the lower volume end, 2 sets per exercise. Off season, you're going to have to train kind of the same. So does that make sense? I need to know a little bit more. Like if it's jujitsu where you have a full year of training, then we might have to plan like seasons where we're a little bit more focused on weight training and we pull back a little bit on the jujitsu a little bit, not a lot, but you know what I'm saying? So it depends on the sport. Bruce, thank you kindly. I really appreciate that. You're the man. Thanks for the wisdom. I appreciate the opportunity. Shoulders and triceps are a massive factor in looking huge when it comes down to walking the street. It does. You want a big presence. I'm not, biceps are okay, but when you look at my arm, the triceps are 2/3 of your arm. That's not bias. Look at my triceps. If you have weak shoulders, Athlete X, no disrespect, but he's a good example. Athlete X has, over 16-inch arms, but he's got a very small frame. He's not very wide. Not disrespect. I'm just saying he doesn't have that shoulder and back mass. So, in a shirt standing next to me, who's going to look like a giant? The guy with the big delts and the big back and the big everything, and the biceps are just a small muscle group. Hopefully I didn't make you upset. No one. My comment got deleted in a post yesterday, and just now in the chat. I didn't delete anything, Blaine. That's not me. I read them one at a time, Blaine. That's YouTube. YouTube screen sings, filter sings. I can't post on anybody else's live videos. I didn't do anything. I promise. I didn't see any of your comments before now at all. So not me. It's 100% YouTube. MCM, you mentioned Athlete X. What's your opinion on him? I left a comment. Okay, this might piss you guys off. I left a comment on Jeffrey Verity Schofield's YouTube yesterday. And this is my opinion. Just sharing my opinion. And I hope you guys will process it like mature adults. And you got your opinion. We can differ. He's not a strength coach. Okay? Because to be a strength coach, you really need to get people strong. He doesn't know exercise form. I can tell because I know exercise form. I'm around people that know exercise form. He does not know exercise form. He's not big. I'm not certain. I'm not convinced he knows what it takes to get big. He doesn't have a good understanding of what true body fat percentage is. Just watched Jeffrey Verity Schofield's video yesterday. So he doesn't know body fat percentage. He doesn't know strength training. He doesn't know strength form. And I'm not sold on the fact that he actually knows how to build massive mass. So what is left? Doesn't know strength training, doesn't know form, doesn't know mass. I'm not sure. I'm not certain he knows mass. He's good at eating tightly 365 days a year. So I think if Jeff would find his lane and stay in his lane and stop positioning himself as all. I only talk about the things I believe in. I'm confident in teaching. I don't teach, mobility work. I'm not a sleep expert. I'll give you guys general advice, but I don't know. How much protein for a beginner? You're not going to recomp. We're not in the recomp world here at Massive Iron. It's fairy tales and unicorns and dragon farts. We're not in that world. We're not in recomp world here at Massive Iron. I'm not being disrespectful, but that's not what we do here. We encourage mass by using wise bulks. So protein, outside of that, protein is protein. You need a good balance of protein in your diet, an appropriate amount of calories. You need 25, probably 30% of your calories from fats for skin, skin, organs, brain, all that kind of stuff. And then you need 150 is probably the bare minimum any male needs on any day. And more than that, 170, 180 is a good next bump. You need more than that if you like to eat more protein, but beyond 170, 180, 190, it's personal preference. But protein isn't going to impact recomping. Like, it's not like you increase protein, all of a sudden you recomp. You give the best advice on YouTube. Thank you. If you can look past my rants, I'm sorry. I've been following you for years, it seems, and you make this 53-year-old feel like a 30-year-old. Thank you. I appreciate it. And fuck the dickheads. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. What are your thoughts on Jordan Peters' method? I'm not being disrespectful. I don't have a clue who he is. Never heard that name before. Maybe I'll check it out if somebody can send it to me at Instagram at Ben the Barman. Rich, triceps are 2/3 of arm size. Exactly, Rich. And I'm not discounting. Like, if you're on stage and you got a really good looking bicep, more power to you. My bicep is ugly. But we were talking, like the conversation that initially started this was if you're just walking down the street, is someone's eyes going to be drawn to your biceps? Right? Sorry, I was trying to do that. Is someone's eyes going to, maybe if I do this, is someone's eyes going to be drawn to your biceps? No. They're going to be drawn to like the overall silhouette. Everything. So does this count as the same rant or a different one? I don't know. What rant? Same rant, different rant? I'll leave that to the rant scorekeepers. All right. Happy Friday. Thanks, Bill. I know Noble Natties disagree, but I agree chest and especially biceps can be a bit overrated. I want a big chest. I do. Even at my leanest, I think I've looked muscular closed into my delts and back. I want a big chest, but like the big puffy Arnold chest, you got to be kind of set up like bringing in the most muscular pose to have that puffiness. Most people have those slabs. Like, Bill, look at your avatar. You have those nice slabs, right, of chesticles. You have chesticle slabs. Those are great, but the chest is long and drawn out. It's a slab, right? So in a shirt, even if you have a bigger chest, it's not like this is going to sound crude here, but let's be real. You have a woman that's big and busty. You can see that in a shirt. Whereas a man, unless he has a tight tee on, and he's super lean and got some really good chesticles, it's harder to see. So it's just, simple reality. Paul, when bulking and you get to a spot where adding calories don't raise weight, I would add 250 and then watch it for 5 days, weigh in. And then I don't like to get too aggressive. I don't like to go above 250. I would do 250 for 5 days and then let's reassess. Ethan, I'm 6'5", weigh 288. Here's what we have to process, Ethan. We know that tall men don't live as long. This isn't speculation, but the heart has to maintain your mass. 288, doesn't matter if you're tall, short, round. Yeah, there's some health differences in the middle, and we can't deny that, right? But we know that from pure longevity statistics, tall men don't live as long because they have more mass that the heart has to maintain. It's a generalization. It's a trivial amount of years, but it's still something scientifically we can know. So you're on the tall end of the spectrum. We also know that men over 240 pounds tend to enter the heart attack zone. So I like to see all men get under 240 pounds. And probably it's safer for you to probably get to 230 and then try to do the bulk cut cycles. But it gets kind of sticky, when you're that tall. So if you want some more personal advice, you can head over to Ben the Barman, slide in my DM, and I can help you out a little bit more because this gets kind of tricky when you're that tall. John, how do you like the Titan leg? I love it. Some of my Titan equipment I don't love, but the leg extension leg curl is solid, and I really like it. I've had a lot of really crappy leg extensions and leg curl stations in my years of home gyms. The leg curls especially. Every one I've owned was horrible. And this is the first one I actually like. So I'm very, very pleased with it. It's a combo machine. The leg extension works well. You have to take weights off and flip some things around, but it's not super complicated. The chest supported machine row, not bad. The chest, like their T-bar row is A+. I would get the T-bar row. It's almost as good as commercial grade, almost. I love their T-bar. The problem with the chest supported machine row is mine is completely vertical. If I had to get a different one, it would be the one where you're laying down and rowing, because when you're vertical, you have a tendency to lean back too much, and even directly or indirectly. It's a good machine, but I prefer the supported chest machines that are like angled. So before I would get the chest supported machine row, I would see if you can get a chest supported row where you're kind of leaning, at that 45-degree angle. Jeremy, my Gym doesn't have a hack squat machine. Is there a barbell or dumbbell movement? I would first do leg presses, leg extensions, sissy squats. You can do old school barbell hack squats with the bar behind your back. You can do Smith hacks or squats. I would say those would be a good quality option as well. Neil, if you mostly run on trails but want to sign up for a race when you're on pavement, would you recommend occasionally? That's a good question. Probably. I feel beat up. So I don't think there's benefit on pounding your body to train to pound your body on a race. I would train off, and then once you get on a pavement, it's going to be more flat than a trail. So there's going to be a downside. It's going to be a little bit slightly more punishing, but the upside is going to be generally flatter than a trail. So I think you'll do great. People on the internet love to emphasize the boundaries. It creates clickbait. Yes, indeed. And a lot of people are more interested in creating clickbait and getting views than they are helping people. And trust me, I wake up every day in that world where I have to, it's really easy to make clickbait and get a big ego and try to make videos for views. And when I make a video like yesterday where I create a the best content I can on warm up sets, and it gets like, um, the views aren't great. That's okay because the people that are watching it are getting good value out of it. And I'd rather build a small, strong army than a broad, weak army. So that's what I'm all about here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Is there some kind of ratio someone should target for squat press or squat hack? The problem is like hacks are so wildly hack machines are so wildly different. It's really hard to do. It's hard to say. And when you say press, which press variation are you referencing? I'm a dad. Good morning, mammals. Congrats on your weight loss. Thank you, Bruce. I have massive shoulders but lots of fat to lose. But with those massive shoulders, as you lose weight, you're going to continue to look more and more like a brick wall. I find squats are easier with a wide grip. Exactly. And, more and more, the older I get, the more I'd recommend getting a safety squat bar if somebody can, just so we don't have to worry about that at all. Squatting in a commercial gym with a wider grip poses all kinds of problems for me. What's your favorite cable exercise? Seated cable rows, 100%. If it's a cable exercise, lat pull downs are right up there too. Cable tricep extensions. What else we got? Maybe a cable curl. Those are probably the only 4 I really care to do. I've done cable crossovers. I like those as much as like eating kale. About to say. I place my hands as wide as a collar. Yeah, if you can do that in the home rack, that's perfect. That's where I started. When I first started back in the dungeon, I did that, and it left me like that much room between, squash and my thumbs. So just be safe, whatever you guys do. Mel Will 26, happy Friday. 38-year-old history of herniated disc. Never used lifting belt. Want to keep back healthy and pull from floor. Get a 10 millimeter single prong. Okay. Single prong is going to be easier to release, and 10 millimeters as thick as you need. So you can get a Longhorn 10 millimeter single prong, which is over $100. It'll last you a lifetime, or there's less expensive ones on the market. When doing power shrugs, 100 reps, how do you know when to up the weight? It's just all intuitive. You kind of got to balance. Am I a pussy? Or did I survive? Like, you want to kind of toss 5 pounds on there when you survived. And if you literally had a near-death experience, then it's okay to hold steady. Younger women like the washboard abs. Older like a stronger overall, not beach bod. Yep, that's what I found. I found older women. It's not politically correct to say, but it's generally means a generalization. What I found as well, that older women like somebody that's more protective and sturdier. Vince, how many sets were you doing for major muscle groups while you're running up? Already answered that. Fahim, did I pronounce that okay? Running your 5, 10, 10, 20. How long should I stay on the same weight? First off, how's your diet doing? You gaining weight slowly? Make sure that nutrition is nailed away or squared away. I want to challenge you, okay? I want you to record. I would keep going. After about 4 weeks, if you're not gaining a rep, maybe it's time to tap out. But I would challenge you to film it and send it to me. Let's see if we can put the pressure on. Hey, Steve, would you suggest a 5, 10, 10, 20 with back squats? No, I kind of moved towards 4, 8, 8, 12. 4, 8, 8, 12. So it's a little bit more manageable. 20 rep squats are hell, So if you're gonna do that sort of thing, I would definitely consider doing the 4-8-8-12. So what else we got? What do we got next? Whoops, sorry. I clicked the screen here and got myself confused. John Jones or Cyril Gain? I don't know. I don't think I've ever. Let me just search something here. I don't think I've ever seen Cyril fight. I know it sounds silly, but I don't recall ever seeing him fight. I don't watch everything all the time. Thanks for the insight. You bet. Glad to help. Lots of talk on body fat percentage this week. What body fat percentage were you in the quad shot in your intro? Probably 22, but with a serious quad pump. Troy, weight fluctuations on my cut drive me crazy. Welcome to the party. Are there any food or macros that would cause an overnight water gain? My water loss can be completely random. Like I can eat the same amount of rice and the same amount of potatoes, carb wise. But when I eat rice, I flush more water. I can eat the same protein and calories in egg whites as I can in bison, but when I eat egg whites, I flush more water. So water fluctuations can drive you mad. What books do you recommend for hypertrophy training? Check out my book, Massive Iron. And I like some of the old school books just for reference. I like bodybuilding magazines from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. You want to know my best recommendation? Go on eBay. Get you some. I got them down here. I got them down here. Get you some bodybuilding magazines from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. They're going to have it's just a wealth of information compared to what we know now. Just it'll broaden your education more than any modern book. Thank you. I appreciate that. Blaine, your thoughts on toughness, mental instability, and insanity remind me of Tom Platz. Thank you. We were talking about mental toughness, and the only thing I could think of was that the key is first being aware that the voice telling you to stop is the enemy. And I think that's a big key. Any updates on your trucker client? My client that is a trucker that pulls his equipment out and works out in the parking lot had a family thing this week, so he hasn't been in touch much, but he's still killing it, absolutely killing it. But I'll let him know that you guys were asking. Matthew, doing trap bar Romanians, excellent variation. Yeah, trap bar. That's why I like the dumbbell Romanian, because you can use more of a neutral grip. I posted this before live started, but I guess YouTube didn't like it. Thoughts on wide grip, snatch grip RDLs or deadlifts? RDL, the whole point is, like for RDLs, let's compartmentalize these a little bit. RDLs, the whole point is to get the hamstring feel. So doing a wide grip isn't going to change that. So the RDL, I want you to focus on driving the glutes back. Grip, doing a wide grip adds no benefit to that realm. A deadlift, if you like that lift, I don't think it's a good hypertrophy lift compared to the regular deadlift. I think it's a downgrade. That's my opinion. McBean, what's going on? Glad to see you. I like the fight me comment. I do not use wraps because I don't feel comfortable with them. Yeah, you got to use what you like. And I'm not a belt guy. I don't like knee wraps. I find knee wraps tedious. If you find them enjoyable, elbow or knee sleeves. elbow sleeves, you like them, go for it. Sam, you mentioned being on a bro split right now. Is that chest tries? Right now, I'm doing a 6-day, and I posted my 6-day on Instagram. I can pop that up for you guys real quick if I can find it. I think I have it right here. I just switched to a 6-day 2 days ago, and I got it right here. I'm basically doing this to reduce daily time in gym because it's super tedious. So I'm doing chest, back. Today I'm doing quads. Tomorrow I'm doing delts. Then deads, hams, and traps. Deads take a lot of time in the gym, so I'm putting them on their own day. And then arms. Squats take a long time. Bench takes a long time. Deads take a long time. So by stretching this out a little bit, it just shortens the daily workouts. All right, where are we? If someone could purchase only one, would you recommend a trap bar? Oh man, that's a tough. Trap bar's cheaper. It's usually you can find one for $150. It's going to be a coin flip. What do you like more? The deadlift or the squat? Are one of them beating up your back more? The trap bar, you can do rows, you can do shrugs without crunching your nut skis. The safety squat bar, it's just a squat. Ultimately, I would want to see both. If I had to build a gym from the start, it would be both. But I think if you're serious about the squat, probably the squat first, the safety squat bar. I reach level 62 tomorrow. Live stream at 10 Central. Competing at the Senior Olympics. Congrats, man. That's a big step. Have a good day, and I hope the weather is in your favor. Bought fat grips to bring up biceps and forearms. You want my honest opinion, JS? Not a fan. Not a fan. I think you're taking a good quality movement and you're downgrading it to put more stress on the grip. Like, I don't want a curl to be more stressful. I don't like, my opinion, you guys do what you want. I don't like fat grips. I think they're a gimmick. I think they're a downgrade. I just think they're a downgrade. I'm not going to downgrade any compound movement using them. And my biceps, I want to use more weight. If your biceps are lagging, you need to get your rows up. I think the fat grips are a gimmick. And use them if you like. Use them if you find value. I don't think I don't think overall they're a step up. Have you ever noticed a relationship between your clients' personalities and the split they prefer? Age a little bit. The older are more open to bro splits. Like the younger guys, this is not a dig, but the younger guys that are more fresh on the internet, they've been just programmed, one way. I think it's more that than anything. Seems a lot of people do bro splits at Infinitum. Downside? The biggest downside of a bro split, did you mean at Infinitum? I wasn't sure. Or is that a gym? Infinitum. What's the downside? The downside of a bro split is you lose flexibility. You got to train like 4 days a week. Can't be missing workouts. On an upper posterior, you can kind of be fluid and insert rest days. A full body, you could work out Monday, you could work out Wednesday. And if you had something come up on Friday, you could take off and work out on Saturday and continue the rotation. And you're still working out every 2 to 3 days. Same with an upper posterior. So you lose flexibility. That's the biggest thing. When somebody asks me, hey, do you think I could do a body part split? I say, you got to commit to 4 days a week. That's the biggest thing. Thank you for your awesome content during my biceps and abs workout. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Alex Gut, what strength program would you recommend for a beginner? You need my book, Massive Iron. You need to get on my upper posterior. That'd be a good place to start. Well-rounded, a little bit of exercise variety, some dumbbells, some machines. Chicken Biscuito. I felt a lot of pressure in my head when deadlifting. Yes, sir. You kind of got that whole blood pressure thing going on. My time and space can warp. My ears can be like, whoa. No, that's just a deadlift, my friend. You get a spike in blood pressure. Sometimes my hearing goes like, whoa. It just gets really weird. That's just a deadlift. Joseph, I'm excited to try Massive Mass. Is this your best program for hypertrophy? Best is up to the individual, but it's definitely one of my top programs. I like Massive Mass. You get 2 or 3 sets. It's easy. It's in out. I like having exercise variety. I think variety is good for mass. There's just an argument to be made for mass, for hitting a muscle with, good quality exercises, a battery, not excessively so, but I think Massive Mass facilitates that a little bit. John Paul, just want to say thank you for showing me the right path. Thank you. I was an obese beginner, no knowledge of fitness, and my YouTube is filled with main gaining, and I did that for months and couldn't progress until you told me to lose the weight. Don't care about my maintaining strength, just lose the weight. I'm doing the 10-pound bulk, and that's good, man. That is what it's all about. Everything I do, I'm just trying to teach you guys the most efficient way. And if somebody wants to walk a tightrope and maintain, flame gain, whatever, it's not the most efficient way. It's not. It's not even argument. I don't know anybody that has a lot of mass that did it main gaining. That's the reality. How do you recommend progression with dips, push-ups, superset? You mean dips and then dips and push-ups? So when dips are your priority. When you get to like 2 sets of 10 or 2 sets of 12, then you want to start loading. Like 5 pounds. Don't be aggressive in loading. You can start with 10, but then from there I'd move up to 15, move up to 20. But when you get to 2 quality controlled sets of 2x10, then you would progress on the dips. And the push-ups are just kind of like an AMRAP where you're doing a dips, push-ups, superset. You're doing dips and then push-ups. The dips, you're trying to hit 10 reps. The push-ups are AMRAP. And then the push-ups, you really want to feel the chest nice and controlled. We're not just trying to run through reps. We're trying to feel the chest. The legend of Mr. D. The legend of Mr. D. Got to cut 40 pounds. Should I just go nuts? Yep. Go nuts. Go nuts. Get it done. 4 months. It shouldn't take you longer than 4 months. Dig in, dig deep. Tell the kids, tell the wife, tell the boyfriend, tell the girlfriend, tell the dog, tell the kitten, tell the hamster, tell the gerbil, tell the snake, tell the neighbors, tell your parents, tell your teacher, tell everybody, tell your boss, tell your coworkers. I'm going deep for 120 days. Stay out the way. Stay out of the way. We are going all in and go all in, dig deep. And when that voice in your head saying, I want a pizza, tell it to get lost. Get it over with. Agron, can you squat and deadlift heavy? I've done it before. It's not fun. The best way to do it is to cycle. Like harder squat day, moderate dead. Harder deadlift day, moderate squat. But not twice a week. I never in the massive iron world do I recommend deadlifting twice in a week. Never. Too many downsides. There's actually electric shavers that can get a close shave. Yeah, I was skeptical, man. This thing is like this is like I've been doing it with just the clippers, and this is far tighter than a clippers. And you can just run it over. You can do a little bit here and there, and it doesn't get out of control. So this is legit. I was skeptical, but this is the Pitbull Gold. Yep. If you were to go back to your 20s, what would you do differently? I would. My first 3 years, I just ate a lot of food. I wasn't a calorie counter. We didn't really count calories in 86, 87, 88. And what I would do after I had a lot of mass, but what I would do at that point is start doing controlled bulks and cuts, knowing what I know now. Kill Bill 8. How do you recommend progression with 1 set AMRAP? 2-minute blocks. The total you get in a 2-minute block for every exercise on a 2-minute block. 2-minute block is you're doing as many reps as you can, rest, pause, style. Resting is needed in 2 minutes. So every exercise is going to be different. Like I did dumbbell flies yesterday or 2 days ago, and I got 40 reps with 20 pounds. Don't laugh. Just a tester. So 40 reps is a lot. I'm going to move up to 25, and we're going to test that out. I think you have to kind of determine that yourself. Below 20 is probably a little bit too low. But once you start to get around 25, 30, 35, then you kind of have to determine, what seems best for that lift. Does that make sense? Most coaches seem to say, don't bulk until you this is such overthinking. I have a lot of thoughts on that. It's nonsense. I mean, yes, they're encouraging you to stay lean, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's nothing magical about 15%. You just don't want to bulk into the heart attack zone over 240 pounds. It's highly personal. It's going to depend on weight, but you do want to get, for health reasons and to look your best, you do want to get leaner, but nothing magical about 15%. You always want to push a cut for as deep as you can get. There's nothing bad with that. But the arbitrary 15% silly. Love the idea of how you would program athlete. I think I might do it this weekend. Did you find Cavaliers? Yeah, it was completely. His assessment of everybody he talked about, no one was at 6%. No one. Jeffrey Verity Schofield does a great job in his video yesterday of discussing this. And Jeff's information is so off base, it's ridiculous. And I'm just being honest. He doesn't seem to understand body fat percentage at all. 1% to 2%, you're dead. You can't be that low. Like, he's naming all these people that have 6%. They're not even close to 6%. Biceps are smaller, but aren't they a stronger? No, they're a much weaker muscle than the triceps. Much weaker. I've been doing heavy triples for barbell back squats. How long should I keep doing triples? I like to, mentally they get tough, right? So some people can handle them a lot longer than others. I would say they're good to run in 3, 4, maybe 5 month blocks, but after that, you should probably step down and do some volume. There's a season for everything, and there's a good reason to do volumes, 10s, 8s, 6s. So just mentally, and to give the body a little bit of break and to build a broader base, it's probably a good idea to switch it up every 3, 4, 5 months. Could we talk a bit more about cardio? Here's the best way I can describe cardio. And we'll use walking, running, sprinting as an example, and you can apply this to anything else. Walking comfortably is zone 1. These are my zones. Walking, zone 1. Okay. Zone 4, sprinting as fast as you can. It's not sustainable, but as fast as you can, all out 10, 15 seconds. Zoom, right? That's zone 4. It's not sustainable past 10, 15 seconds. All out top speed that you can sustain for 10 to 15 seconds. Okay, so there you have 1 and 4. 1, walking. 4, sprint speed as fast as you can for 10, 15 seconds. Zone 2 is running at conversational pace. You can hold a conversation. This is how I ran for 3-4 years. 2 hours. How you doing? Good. You know, slow as a turtle, right? Compared to what your sprint speed is, but it's sustainable and you can keep going and you can hold a conversation. That's zone 2. Zone 1's walking. Zone 2 is holding a conversation, running. Zone 3 is between running and sprinting. It's a higher elevated heart rate, something you can sustain for 1 to 2 minutes, a notch below sprinting. Okay. So there's something in between 2 and 3, something a little bit faster than running at conversational pace, and something a little bit slower than something that you can only sustain for a minute or 2 minutes. But as far as training, those are the important zones. We shouldn't really be training in 2.5. We're not trying to set a mile PR every time out. That's a bad way to train because we're pushing speed at the expense of distance. So elliptical, super low, like walk pace. 2 is conversational pace. 3 is a pace where you can only sustain that pace for a minute to 2 minutes. And 4 is all out. You can only sustain it for 10 to 15 seconds. When you are training to improve distance and speed, you train 80% of the time in the conversational pace. This is your base. Check out 80-20 running if you think I'm an idiot. 80-20 endurance training for cyclists, for bikers, for runners. You want to train about 20% of the time in zone 3. So you're not doing your whole zone 3 workout once a week in zone 3. You go out, you do 10, 15 minute warm up. Then you do a minute to 2 minutes in zone 3. Then you cool down for 2 to 3 minutes and run a conversational pace. And then you do zone 3, 2 to 3 minutes, or 1 to 2 minutes at zone 3. And you get back up in zone 3, 4 or 5 times during a workout for a minute to 2 minutes. So does that help? Currently doing push-pull arms, legs. Great workout. Thank you. Any tips for squats with long legs? The best tip I can give you is allow somebody like me to help you with form, because we're going to have to dial things in based on what is happening actually in the gym. There are some general advice on squatting with long legs. You could probably find some videos on YouTube, but you also need somebody knowledgeable to help you dial in from there. John, maybe an idea you could do. What did I miss, John? Mikey, I'm not sure if you previously comment, but what's your thoughts? We talked about that earlier. 4, 8, 8, 12. Bulldozer protocol or other rest pause. Do you count reps beyond the first set? You can. Originally, the bulldozer, I added up all reps for all 5 sets and created like a progression number to hit. Or you can just use the first set as a trigger. Either way is fine. If you want to get super complicated in math and add up reps for all 5 sets, you can do that. That's how my original bulldozer was. People ask me why I changed it. Just because it gets a little bit complicated. I just streamlined it. Can you become metabolically adapted using the same steady state cardio? Well, your body will adapt. You'll get more efficient, but that doesn't mean you won't burn calories, right? If you try something harder than you're conditioned for, it's going to be harder, and your heart rate's going to go up, right? So when we become conditioned to something, our heart rate is more stable. When you do something ridiculous, that's a lot harder than we're conditioned for. Our heart rate is going to go up, so we're going to burn more calories. Will it be a big difference? No, but conditioning to a level of training isn't a bad thing. You're still going to burn calories. It's just not a shock. Does that make sense? Chewy Baca, Rich Knapp is a dice man. He is that. Mitch, veiny Bicepticon's forearms can stand out in a crowd. Yeah, if you got a bicep vein, it can definitely stand out in a crowd. Do we become metabolically? Nope, already did that one. Thank you. Everybody go buy the Massive Collection. The Massive Collection is on my website, superlivingtoday.com. It is my current biggest seller. It's got so much information in there. Just a massive collection of workouts. It's $34.99, but I'll tell you, it's got everything, including the kitchen sink and you name it. It's a monster value. Thank you. Nicholas, when people leave weights on the barbells at the gym, it bothers me. It bothers me too. I want to take the barbell and shove it up their asshole, to be honest with you. You can do good mornings with a safety squat bar. Yes, you can. 1, 3 sets of 10, last set, max safe reps versus 2 sets of 10. Neither is more effective. We have to look at overall weekly volume. So we want a reasonable amount of weekly volume. If you're doing all exercises at 2 sets, you probably want to do more exercises to get the same weekly volume. Does that make sense? I'll give the fat grips time. Yeah, I'm not trying to be. I'm just not sold on fat grips. I just feel they're kind of gimmicky. But if you like them, use them. Okay. Your bro split. Are you doing 6 on 1 off? Yep. 6 on 1 off. They're all more moderate exercises, and there's spacing between, similar types. So I don't have any recovery issues, to be honest with you, Troy. I've been doing this so long, it feels easy for me. Thank you. You really helped simplify my training. I'm glad to help. Thank you. Bill, don't you love the I was down in the mental dumps Instagram posts about how someone fell off at the gym when the real answer is they just went and scaled back their cycle, then back on? Yeah, yes, I know what you're saying. Oh, my God. Someone went broke trying to keep up with their PED schedule. Hyperzala tryptodapsamine. I was an intermediate lifter. Sorry. Hydroxytryptamine. I'm an intermediate lifter, and I've been using your rep goal. Do you think I should just keep at it? Yeah, eventually it can be kind of punishing. So you might want to move to the last set max reps eventually on some of the exercises. But as long as you're not feeling beat up, keep at it. Do you have to wait to fully recover breath when going? I want to feel all in. I don't think I fully recover between squats, but I get manageable. Does that make sense? Where it's not going to impact the next set. Just taking an opportunity to say a massive thank you for the coaching. Thank you. Your form advice is invaluable and really helped me. I appreciate that. And congrats on your big 315. Anybody that works with me in coaching knows that I have kind of a form obsession. But the reason why I have a form obsession is because if your form isn't nailed, you're not going to get the most out of a lift. And you're not getting the most out of a lift, you're not going to get the most out of your training. So I'm super obsessed with exercise form. Man, these lives are getting longer and longer. We reached a new level, 104 people on at the same time today. Thank you, guys. I'm busting my ass. I appreciate the support. I'm going to do these all day long as you guys stay on. My goal is to get massive. That's a good goal. I'm not sure which one of your programs. Just do them all, man, and cycle every 3, 4, 5 months. Do them all and find what you like. They're all going to get you massive. What you're going to do is you're going to learn what you like and don't like. What makes you feel healthier? What makes you feel more motivated? Do the power muscle block. Do the massive mass. Do something. Just do them all. I mean, try them all. I'll help you. And you find what you like, what you don't like. Do a bro split. Do an upper posterior. Just dig in and get dirty and attack. And that's the best way. You're going to find what you don't like, what you like, what you don't like. And then we can start evolving programs based on that. Word, thanks. You bet. Does the Pitbull Gold also work well for removing facial hair? I would not know. I would. It has to, because there's some thick areas right here. I'm not going to do this, but I would suspect it would. This thing is just chewing up, some tough areas up here. So I would suspect it would. Would an advanced lifter be able to bulk for a month? I don't like a short bulk. There's the first 2 weeks of a bulk, you're just getting acclimated to the demands of a program. You're kind of ramping up. I don't like that at all. It's just not enough time to really get in the groove and make good quality progress. What's your opinion on training close to failure? We do not use the word failure in the massive iron world. We use push for as many quality reps as possible, stopping a set because we feel like we might fail on the next rep or because form might break down. Here's the problem with training to failure. People that advocated blankly are idiots. Repeat. Here's the problem with training to failure. People that blanketly advocate training all exercises to failure, or on the other side of the coin, people that advocate never training any exercise to failure are idiots. You can quote me. You can put that all over TikTok, Twitter, Twatter, Tutor. You can post that all over Facebook and Instagram and Vimeo and whatever else you got going on. Right? They're idiots. Why? Because they do not understand lifting. They do not understand the nuances of exercises. In their brains, all exercises are equal, and you can take all exercises to failure or no exercises to failure. This isn't reality. They live in some fake made-up matrix world where they're swimming around in their own naivete. Did I say that correctly? Right? They're living in a world, some construct they created. And that construct is completely detached from reality. Every exercise is different. The demands of every exercise is different. Different movement patterns have different demands. On rows, you're going to reach a point where your power generation slows down. On pendlay rows, on barbell rows, on dumbbell rows, it's so easy to fail on rows because basically you just hit a point where it slows and you got to kind of grind at the end. That's failure. Not damaging, not punishing. Really easy to take a row to failure. Presses, pretty much the same thing. A little bit harder than rows, but you're not really going to get beat up pushing a press. You're not really going to get beat up pushing a press to failure. Squats, deadlifts, yes. RDLs, yes. There's a lot of lifts you're going to get beat up pushing close to failure. So this whole construct that is created that you must train all exercises of failure or none to failure is completely ignorant. It's based out of a place of ignorance. That coach does not understand lifting, has not made the connection, the mental leap that every exercise is different. And it's not simple as monkey see switch, monkey flip switch to black, monkey flip switch to white. That's the way these guys are functioning. That's their brain capacity. That's their brain level. That's their decision making. We're not monkeys, and we can understand that every exercise is different. And it's not black or white. It's not like that. So from there, we can determine, are there certain exercises I can push to failure? Are there certain exercises I can't push to failure? Right? So that is why I say push every set for as many quality reps as possible. This covers the gamut. When you stop producing quality reps on a pendlay row, you know. When you stop producing quality reps on a bench, either your form's breaking down, you got a lat cramp, something's going crazy. Same on bench, or same on squat, same on deadlift. Push a set for as many quality reps as possible. Stopping that set when you feel like you might fail on the next rep or form starts to break down. We don't talk about failure in the massive iron world because we're not monkeys that only function on a switch that only has a black and a white. Do stomach vacuums make you relax? I don't think so. It gives you some good control, but I don't know. Nothing I want to do. Awesome content. Thank you. Been lifting for 2 years. Seated dumbbell press for 70 pounds and 8 reps. Been stuck recently. I would get your body weight up. I would make sure you're doing controlled bulks. Do controlled 10-pound bulks over 3, 4, 5 months, and controlled cuts. And let's try to get your weight up over time a little bit, pack on a little bit more mass, and you should be good to go. Rico, thank you, Rico. Nicholas, I'm addicted to caffeine and kratom. Yeah, I'm addicted to caffeine too. But is the addiction causing you issues? That's the question. Like, if you have a food addiction, it can cause you health issues, personal issues. If you have alcohol, a drug addiction, it could cause you health issues, personal issues. The question you have to ask is it okay to be a little unbalanced at a few things in life if it's not disrupting relationships? So that's all I can say. Is there a cure for elbow tendonitis? Yes. Use VersaGrip Pros. Get VersaGrip Pros. Elbow tendonitis is caused by all the gripping. And most of the gripping pressure comes from back work, lat pull down, seated cable rows, barbell rows, dumbbell rows, and things like deadlifts and RDLs. Elbow tendonitis that we get from lifting is the same that tennis players get, tennis elbow. Golfers get golfer's elbow. Why is that? Because they are constantly gripping. Overuse injury. So we want to use grip assistance. I had super bad elbow tendonitis in 2007, and then I started using VersaGrip Pros. The Pros have a longer flat. That will help with your grip, and it'll help over time with your elbow tendonitis. If you don't use it, you're just asking for trouble. What are the pros and cons of having an A-B split? I don't like upper lowers, so we don't do those in my world. The pros, you get flexibility. You can add in a rest day basically whenever you want. I like having 4 workouts. Upper A, posterior A, upper B, posterior B. That's what we call it in my world. You can insert a rest day whenever you want as long as you keep rotating between those 4 workouts. That's the pros, flexibility. What better pro is there than flexibility? Cons? I don't know that there's cons really. Sometimes you can have the posterior workouts where you're doing multiple body parts in the same workout, and you can have 2 tough lifts back to back. I think that would be the biggest con. How should you program zone 3 cardio on a treadmill? Running 1 to 2 minutes. So if you don't want to do zone 3 running more than once a week, let me expand and say zone 3 running is usually what helps you bring up your floor, your base speed when you're running at a conversational pace. So I was taught by my running coaches, and I had literally two of the best in the world. Like legit two of the best trail running people in the whole world. Zone 3 you do once a week. You come out with a 5, 10, 15-minute lead in at conversational pace. Then you do zone 3, 1 to 2 minutes, rest 1, 2, 3 minutes. Do zone 3, 1 to 2 minutes, rest 1 to 3 minutes. And you want to hit that zone 3 probably a minimum of 3 times and probably a maximum of 5. And then you do conversational pace, 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes out. Does that make sense? You can use inclines to do your zone running, but I would probably not. Inclines are generally in the trail running world the zone we want to walk at. Most trail runners are walking up inclines. Does that make sense? Barbell, Bryce, adding to my first comment, do you have a number one favorite program in your collection? Power Muscle Block. It's what I build my base on. It's when I put Power Muscle Burnout at Muscle and Strength, it has like 5 million views, 4,000 comments. It's been my most successful program. Is it better than others? Probably not, but it's kind of my personal favorite. Good mornings with SSB are so much better for me. Any cons when it comes to rest pause? I exclusively do a rest pause in every exercise. I love them. There's no real cons. You're increasing quality as long as you're progressing and you're not doing reckless reps, and you're increasing rep quality. So there's no real cons. There might be seasons when you need to take a break from it and do more base building, but Jason, thoughts on a 4-day bro split every other day? That's all right. That's the maximum I would stretch it out, though. If most top natties have similar approach amounts of muscle, what accounts for the differences in overall physique? Most of them look about the same, but you can have different muscle belly shapes and sizes. Like my bicep looks like a potato. Some guys have a bicep that looks like a ball. So that's insertion points and limb lengths. Start a PMB, but puked on leg day. No, I don't know. It'd be a better choice. I'll just suck it up and drive on, my friend. Better is what you like. I just want to say thank you for helping me. I've noticed thank you. And thank you for taking the time to give me feedback. It means a lot to me because in this world where I have an opportunity to help so many people or provide answers for so many people, to get feedback is invaluable. It helps me help other people. See you later and have a good day. You have a good weekend. Jason, some coaches say skinny novices should bulk. Well, they have to be training right. In theory, that is okay. In theory. But if they're not training right, they're not getting much out of it. So we have to make sure their training is right. Completely understand about inclines because I enjoy walking at an incline. Now understand, walking at an incline can still get your heart rate up, but the surging or zone 3 we're using to try to raise our base speed at conversational pace. So we use the zone 3 work to raise our speed at zone 1. Does that make sense? Last call for questions. This is the last one. You've been talking a lot about muscles are most important for a good. We've been talking a lot about which muscles are important for a good-looking physique. Yes, and I will end with this. The massive iron world is all about and has always been about getting everything in the human body as big and as strong as possible. And that's what we will always be about. So all these debates about getting your glutees bigger, getting your tooties, your fruities, your biceps, your tricepticons, your trapezoids, your chesticles, your quadrasons, your quadriceps, your nipples, your nostrils, whatever, your nozzles. It's all about getting everything big. Thanks for answering all my questions. Thank you. Huge respect. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've been enjoying your coaching for the past 2 months. I'm learning a lot. I'm glad to help. Just keep letting me know how I can help more. All right, guys, we had a monster day today, and I thank you so much. Let's not forget, before you go, I have 10 free coaching spots. A client paid a lot, a huge donation to help you guys. 10 people. You can go to my Instagram, my latest post. Click the link in my profile to apply. It takes 3 minutes. I have over 40 people that have applied already. Apply, get it in. It's going to be a tight squeeze, but you got a chance. I already checked my email. Let me check my email real quick. Last time I checked, I had 35. What do we got now? 40. I got 40 people. So we got 40 people that have applied. I might get close to 100 by the time the weekend's done. Get in. You got a chance. And you can also go to the community section on YouTube and find the link as well. Big Bill said yes. And John Doe said maybe something you could do. About which muscles? Everything, John. Everything. Get everything in the human body as big and as strong as possible. All right, you freaks, you better come back next Friday. I appreciate your support, and I love each and every one of you ugly SOBs. All right, we're out of here.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.
I've been waiting to do that for a while.